Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Rovers Reports channel. I am joined by not an English member, not just any ordinary member today. I am joined by not just Daniel, it's Daniel. Daniel, come on, introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me on. Born and bred in the Chicago suburbs. I grew up playing all kinds of sports. I always really enjoyed playing football though, and I still play. I'm injured right now. I got an ankle injury, but I play fullback mostly or CDM preferred. But yeah, still like to run and be active and get into my 40s. So Morton Gems Pedersen is showing you can still do it. So I'll piggyback on him as long as I can.
It's never too late. Morten Gant Pedersen has actually shown that. 42, 41 years old, and he's
Yeah,
joined a second division Norwegian side. I love it. That man will
yeah.
forever be a Blackburn legend. I love it from him. But for everyone, come on, let's get some massive thanks for Daniel for joining us. It's quite late here in England, but after we were in a Twitter space before, me and Daniel, and the guy's opinions, I couldn't not introduce him to the channel. I had to get him on straight away. I love a little bit of differentiation on the opinions, and he had it all going for him. So straight away, Daniel, I want to get from you what we all want to hear from you. Opinions on, well, for us, yesterday's game, but for you, today's game on Coventry City.
Yeah, very frustrating way to end it, of course. Especially since, from what I was seeing on camera, it looked like a handball in the box in the lead up to the goal. But anytime you concede in the last minute, it's just one of the most frustrating things that can happen in all of sport, especially a goalkeeper putting it in. I thought we did really well in the first half. I thought even the second half, they kind of came out of the gates a little bit more, and I thought we did well to temper that. Um, and I really thought we played a good 80 minutes, 85 minutes. It was just down to that last spell where, you've got to do better. You've got to, we talked about in the space, the subs that the ADT's been making recently late on have maybe not been the most well thought out. I think I agree with Wharton should have stayed on. I thought. I just don't think Morton's that guy who's going to steal up your defense when you're going to come under the caution the last, five or added time. So I thought that was a bit of a misstep by the gaffer. And we also had some guys, coming out with fatigue, with JRC and Britain. They cut to him, and he was showing the coaches that he was having a little bit of hamstring tightness or soreness there as well. So, I think those were both, there's nothing you can do about pulling either of them off, but I think you need to replace them with, more defensive minded people at that time of the game. And I don't think Morton's that guy. That's not what he's here for. So kind of frustrating in that regard, though. But otherwise, I thought some of the other subs came on and did pretty well. Maybe not making the impact, but none of them have been making the impact on 90 minutes. So, I don't know what you're expecting at this point. We got the goal. We just needed to hold on to it today, and we didn't do that.
Yeah, and like Daniel was saying there, like, first of all, I want to point out this man calls it football, not soccer. And I love that. I love that. He knows what football is. Football is football, not soccer. But let's move on to the game. My opinion on the whole situation with the game today, I think we're all gutted. I think we're all very disappointed. I think that, it's a very tough one to take. It's one of them ones you take a jab to the chin, it hurts, but you still think you're okay afterwards. And we're still in that sixth position. We're still in the playoffs. Dom Hyam came out after the Hull City game, and I said this before on the live. I said that Dom Hyam said after the Hull City game that it's a crucial point. But was it? Because tonight is the crucial point. And I truly believe that. I think Coventry coming against this team, Big Vic up front, and I call him Big Vic. And everyone always goes, why are you not just calling him by his full name? Big Vic. Because he is a physical presence. That man can cause problems upon problems to any team in the league. He shouldn't be in the Championship. He's a Premier League player. Low side, yes, I know. But he's a Premier League player. And tonight, We kept him hush tonight. All game we kept him hush. And that's why this defeat hurts so much more. If he scored in the last minute, I don't think we'd be complaining. I don't think any of us would be complaining. We'd be like, that's the man that popped up, that should have popped up from the start of the game. But because it's a handball last minute from the goalkeeper, I think it just hurts so much more. And it's a hard one to take. But personally, I think it could be a big point. I don't agree with Domheim. I think that we should have taken all 3 points against Hull City. But yet again, today proved why we need a striker. Again and again, I hate saying it, but we need a striker. You guys know who have watched the channel through and through and seen me on other social media platforms. Ibrahima Kone. I don't know if you, Dan, know about him too much. But the Malian Camestro.
What the hell is that?
Oh, come on. This man is a beautiful player. I need him. I need him so much. This man today would have finished a lot of chances that Gallagher didn't. Gallagher, that goal he scored, unbelievable. Gallagher, I take my hat off to you. A really good goal. But you compare that goal to the header that he had a little earlier beforehand, he should be burying both. You know, if he can bury one, why can't he bury the other? It's so frustrating. We need that clinical nature up front. And I think, we're not going to get into it today. I'm sure we'll have another video out there about who we need to sign up front. I'm sure we will. And I'm sure Dan will be there as well. Because Dan, after talking to Dan before, he's got some wider opinions out there about who to sign than other people. And I like that. You need a differentiation on the opinions. But for me, we need a new striker. And today showed that, especially, don't let me take anything away from Coventry. Any Coventry fans, watching today, you played the game you wanted to play. You wanted to push that back line. And Adam Wharton is the man that I want to come to here. Didn't let you do that. Last game you saw a lot of back passing to the back line. And Adam Wharton didn't let that happen. It was fluid front foot playing football. And I love it. Right? And we didn't let you play football. We didn't let it happen, and I take pride in that we didn't let you play that. If we played the football we played against Hull City, you would have beat us 4-1 today. Easily. But we played the football you didn't want us to play, and we played it. But you also got the result you wanted because it was that last minute slip up that we always managed to do somehow. We always managed to give away a lead that shouldn't be given away. And it's frustrating. But, I'm going to go back to Daniel here. I want to know, when it comes to Preston North End, right? Preston North End is a massive game. This Preston North End game could change the complex of the complete season. If we beat Preston North End, it's the difference between playoffs and also sitting underneath playoffs. What do we need to change before we get to the Preston game, Dan? Come on, hit us with it.
It's 100% is the mentality of the team. I don't think EDT's been able to get them ramped up for the derby games, at any level of a derby match. I mean, you look at the Burnley game, they weren't up for it. They didn't turn up with the right mentality. They didn't turn up to put 300% in, which, you can't just be showing up thinking it's another game. It's not. You saw it on the Burnley faces, the way they celebrated against us. And I would just plaster those all around the dressing room for the rest of the campaign. I mean, just put them up right now, all of them, all the matches. I want the players walking into the dressing room and seeing those faces and saying, this is not going to happen anymore. It just doesn't. And try and get them and get them up for these local matches, because they need to have the steel about them in these types of ones, because they're going to come at it with that mentality. And we need to, at the very least, match that energy and that desire. And then I do think we can play better football than them, but if they're going to be coming at us and kicking us and trying to wind us up, and we're not ready for it, it's we're going to fall apart. And we've got to be intense. We've got to be moving faster. With all of our decisions, have to be much more instinctual. I think we've been trying to think too much instead of just doing. I think Ben Diaz has been more and I think that's been the epitome of his play recently. Is he's an instinctive player, and when he starts to think about it, you can see the gears start grinding and the smoke coming out of his ears, and he ends up having a shot that goes out for a throw in instead of feeding it onto somebody else, or putting it in the top corner. And I think the whole team just needs to be much more instinctual, because when teams do press us, and you'll see us in little pockets at time, we'll play some nice quick touches and we'll play out of pressure. But then as soon as we get into open space and you can see them starting to think of what do I do, that's where it all kind of starts to break down. And I think we just need to be much more instinctual with our play moving forward.
And like you said there, I think that as a team collectively, I think that under pressure, I don't think we can use that as an excuse anymore. I think that, after seeing us against Leicester and Sheffield, and I reiterate this again and again and again, and people are probably tired of me saying it, but I don't care. That Sheffield game, how much were we under the cosh? That's a semi-final of an FA Cup. When was the last time we were in a semi-final of an FA Cup? I think a lot of people who are watching this, a lot of people who are, from 14 age onwards, can't even name the last time, put a point on the last time we were in an FA Cup semi-final. And we give it our all against Sheffield.
Yeah.
Sheffield are a Premier League side. So are Burnley. The reasons why they are both first and second are because they deserve to be up there. Personally, I don't think we deserve to be up there yet. And tonight is another reason why I believe we don't deserve to be up there, because these are the games you need to be seeing out, I think that Ben Brereton Diaz, like you said there, his head's always been in Spain. But as a player, should your head be in Spain, or should your head be, I want to put the best impression for myself before I get to Spain? Me, if I was playing football still, I've got a beer belly since last time I played football. I admit that. I am not a footballer. I never want to judge a footballer. But if I was a footballer, I'd be giving the best impression to a team ever. But I'm pretty sure he seems just happy 30k a week on the bench. And, I can't blame him. If I got offered a 30k a week contract now to sit on the bench somewhere in San Marino or some other Europe country that doesn't matter anywhere in the world elsewhere, I would take the offer. Of course I would. But come on, just give us that factor. That's all we need. You're the difference between going up and not going up. And he's got to realize that he's a crucial point in our team. How many Chilean flags did I see tonight on Sky Sports whilst I was watching? I saw at least 4. People look at you and want you to be the big player that you made out to be last season. Brereton Diaz, I love you. I think you're brilliant. I think last season you showed why you can be an influential player to our team. But Jesus Christ, give us that much more, please. But one player that I'm sure Daniel knows played well tonight, and rightly so got man of the match, Adam Wharton. Come on. How vital is Adam Wharton to our campaign? Come on. Talk to me, Dan.
Oh, I think he's got narrow shoulders still. You don't want to put too much pressure on him because he is young. And I think today suited him really well because Coventry didn't really get on him too much. They didn't really press him. He had time on the ball, and when he does, he can really pick a team apart. But I thought he was really good. In the second half on getting the ball back. Helping us win the ball back and showing the steal as well. That's why I think he should have stayed on. But I think moving forward, I would much rather see us play a midfield 3, which I think gives him the time and space available to do what he does best. And if we want to play out the back like we apparently do, frustratingly at times, I think he's probably one of the best people on the pitch to help do so, because you saw today he was, when we were getting stuck back there, he'd drop back, pick up the ball, and just kind of do a little drop of the shoulder or give the eyes and be able to turn out of defense and move the ball forward. And I think that's something that Morton struggles with at times. He tries to be too cute, gets caught in the ball too much, trying to do stuff like that. And I think Morton's just got a little bit more on him in those areas. And I think that's what we need for JDT's system moving forward.
Yeah, and like you said there, I think Adam Wharton's unbelievable, and he's still young, and that's the thing, I think one thing that JDT got told when he came into this job, it was definitely the academy is going to be a big factor of what happens this year. I think we all know that. I think that we're not going to be a side like Burnley or Sheffield or, even some of like Norwich, West Brom, who signed these players, as an American yourself, I'm sure you know about Dykes, who's come in and he's revolutionized that attack for West Brom when he's actually played football. We're never going to be a team that has that attacker that revolutionizes the whole attack for us, We're going to rely on individuals from who we get from home homegrown nature. And it's so much harder to actually influentiate our type of football with them type of players, because they're not players that have had any involvement elsewhere before. This is a player that gets chucked into the team and goes, right, look, listen, you're going to change this team completely by yourself. But who are you? No one knows who you are before you step on that pitch. And that's a bigger task more than anything ever. And I think it's so hard to try and change that. But I
I
think
think
Adam,
that's where our loans need to be better.
yeah,
Especially you look at like Marcande with his loan. JDT came out today saying he thinks it's a shame how he's getting very little game time. And it's like, well, either put in his loan contract that he has to play a certain amount of minutes, or bring him back home. I'd rather see him on the pitch today in the second half, or in our reserves. Either way. But I think that's where you can get some of that experience from our homegrown players is sending them on loan when they're younger
yeah. And I
as
think
well.
one thing that's crazy about Makonde is right. I remember that. Do you remember that? Was it a 4-0 loss to Rotherham we got in the end? I think it was, but I remember Rotherham put a tweet out, and I wish I could get it up on screen right now if I had it prepared. They put, Makonde has been the most dangerous player for Rovers since he's come on the pitch. A month, not even a week later, not even that, he gets sent off somewhere else. It's going through your head. Like, what is going on up there, JDT? I love you to bits, but what's going on up there? If one player comes onto a pitch for a club to put on their social media, oh, this player has been your most influential player since the start of the game, right? And you go, oh, yeah, you know what? Yeah, he's been our most influential player. Let's send him off to Scotland. Just why? Why would you do it? I don't understand. I think that Makonde has amazing amounts of ability. I think this guy, he's got that silky movement, something that we've not had on the wing for a long time. Obviously, you could argue about Tyrese Dolan. I agree. Tyrese Dolan, very silky, but I think he runs into danger too much. Whereas Makonde knows when it's a bit too much. Let's play it off to someone, But moving back on to Adam Wharton, I think just something about him, and I said before on Twitter Live, something about him just reminds me of Grealish, the swagger about him. And I'm taking this from Ollie, if you've heard of Ollie on TikTok, massive, just something about him, the low socks, the shin pads, just something about him, just them nice little, like you said before, the shoulder movements, just passing it, laying it off. I just love it. I just think that he's a player we've not had in a long time in the midfield. And I think he should definitely get more games. I think that, like we were saying before about Harry Leonard as well, I think there's no risk playing him anymore, is there? If we get playoffs, then what's the problem? We're not expecting to get playoffs. We're punching massively. It's like putting a lightweight into the heavyweight division and going, you know what, box some people. You're not going to win every match, are you? You're not going to win every fight, are you? But the odd fight, you're going to win. And
Well,
tonight,
hey, and we keep on trying the same thing and getting the same results. So, we might as well change it up. Gallagher looks like he pulled up with a hamstring. He'll probably be out at least a game, even if it was minor, just to protect it. So why not start Leonard next game? See what we can get out of him.
I completely agree with you. Daniel, mate. I am so strong about this youth setup. If we're getting told to stick on with the youth, then just do it. At the end of the day, as a Blackburn fan myself, I remember at the start of the year, I was doing a couple of things for Rovers chat, and they said to me, "Where would you place Rovers? At the start of the year, where'd you place them?" I said, 13th. Unlucky number 13. Unlucky number 13. I thought we'd finish there, mid-table. Who gives a doss? We've been in the playoffs since the start of the season. We are punching massively. There's no risk in playing anyone now. The worst we could finish is 10th, 11th. So what? We've still punched mightily above where we should have played in the first place. But, moving away from Coventry, at the end of the day, we've had our talk about that. We know we're gutted. We're upset. People have been mocking me. It seems like you're going to cry. All right, I shed a few tears. Whatever. That's a passionate fan for you. Let's move on to Preston North End. I can't stand them. Preston North End are a side to me, right, where they've always tried to have a nibble where they think that you're up. They think they're up there with the likes of Burnley and Blackburn. Preston North End, a little message to you. What the hell have you done ever? What have you ever done? Have you won a Premier League? Have you won anything? Like, what, you won an FA Cup back in 19 something? All right, good for you, you know. It was whatever, you know. You've been a team that's been battling with the League One team for ages. You're coming into the Championship, you're giving it all yabba, yabba, yabba. I don't care. I don't want to hear it anymore. Come on, Daniel, give us your thoughts. Preston North End, what needs to change coming up to Preston North End?
Well, I would say, first and foremost, we've got to, like I said earlier, we've got to change the mentality of the team, and they have to be much more instinctual. They've got to be up for the Derby game. They've got to know what it means to the fans, especially since we haven't really done well this year, except on the odd occasion. So they've got to step up those games. They've got to play with more blood and thunder in these. I know it's not necessarily the style of team we are, but at least have a backbone when they come at us. Play quick, play instinctive, be much more open to taking risks in the second third, the final third of the pitch as well. Take a shot. If you get an opening, take it. Just take it. Don't second guess yourself. Be prepared to take those shots. Go into the game knowing if I get a moment, I'm going to take it. And if you miss, shake it off, man. That's what the gaffer wants you to do. That's what you do. Don't let it get to you. Don't let it, don't put your head down and don't listen to, that's another thing too. The fans need to be on the boys' side and cheer them on. We've heard some boos creeping in here and there, and sometimes you kind of understand where they're coming from, the frustration, but it's not going to help anybody. The boos never help anybody. It's this is a younger side. We need to make sure that we're giving them the positive backing and getting behind them. But I would personally, I know we had some injuries too in the end of the game, so we're gonna have to assess those and see where the fullbacks are, because if Pickering can come back in, he slots back into left for me. And we'll have to look at JRC and Britain and see which one of them's fitter. I would play the fitter one of either, regardless of form, because they're going to have to be able to pull through 90 minutes. And in a tough match that's going to be hotly contested. So they're going to have to be able to be physical.
And like you said there, like at the end of the day, there's been a lot of hesitation from Blackburn when it comes to shooting, hasn't there? Sky Sports picked up on it against Hull,
Yeah.
I thought to myself, Lewis Travis at the start of the year, that goal against QPR, Jesus Christ. I mean, we all know he's got a fucking rocket on him when he wants to hit it. And, pardon my language, I'm going to get demonetized for that. I don't swear a lot, but he has got a rocket on him when he wants to hit it. Like that man can hit a ball when he wants to, but he seems very hesitant to do it. And I know, we've got to pick up on that. And, at the end of the day, if that means we have to wait till next season to pick up a proper striker, that's what we need to do. But at the end of the day, I think that's a good overview of the game. I think that's a proper one. I think the emotions have calmed down a bit since then. I think we've both calmed down and we realise, it's not the end of the world against Coventry, as much as me nearly tearing up confirmed that it was the end of the world. I think we've brought the emotions back up there. I think we can't look at it as a bad point. We've got to look at it as a point that could get us playoffs. If we get playoffs and we finish on 71 points and a team finishes on 70, that's the point that gets us the playoffs. Who cares?
As long as we're in it, you got to back them,
Exactly. And, I just want to say thank you to you, Dan, for joining. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, and hopefully we get more of Dan. I'll honestly, when he joined the Twitter Live before, I'll be honest, I haven't sports Dan or anything before this. This is actually the first time we've talked face to face. Like, this man's got good opinions, and sometimes controversial ones. We had a little talk about before about Diaz. He thinks he tries too much. That's up to you guys to decide.
Thinking too much. He's thinking too much.
That's up to you guys to decide in the comments below. I'm not going to say anything. That's up to you guys. But honestly, thank you so much for joining us, Dan. Absolute legend. But if you want to like, subscribe, hit the bell as well. We appreciate a lot. And also, I'll make sure to put Dan's socials down below. Thank you, Dan, so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure. But that's going to wrap up today's video. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. And, let's not be deflated from today. Let's move on to Preston North End. Come on, you Blues. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching.